I realized when I was a creative, and that's who I really knew and understood who I wanted to be. I was in middle school, and everybody looks out the window and they're like, I'm having my main character moment. But for me, it was like when I was listening to music, I would have these visual stories being created in my head. Like it could be, a love song, and it's a girl and a guy, and they're having this very intimate story that are being told through the music and the words. That's when I really realized that I saw this whole other world outside of myself, outside of the people around me, outside of what I saw in media. It's just something that just came so naturally to me, and I kind of just always held on to that and built on that. And I remember my first time getting my camera. I was in 5th grade, and I remember I was begging my dad for years to get a camera because I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and he just felt like I was so young, this is really young to be getting a camera. And I begged and I begged, and I got it for my 5th birthday, and I was so excited. And my camera has led me to so many amazing places, and it led me to meet so many different people and experience this life of design and photography and videography and illustration, and be able to go to art school. It just opened so many doors for me, especially in the visual communication sector, and made me learn how to become a businesswoman. Glad that creativity has been something that I can love, and I can share my culture and my love of nature through, and that's my driving force for why I create so passionately and what gets me to create in the first place. And it's just amazing to see how people connect with art and how people are able to express themselves and communicate with other people. And I'm really excited about my journey, and becoming the creative I want to become, and becoming the creatives that I see, that I look up to, and maybe become that for someone else one day. And it's just a very exciting journey, and a really big reason why I'm even here and how I'm able to get where I'm at today is that I don't stop. I think a lot of times we wait for things to be perfect, and we wait for it to look a certain way and feel a certain way, and we're like, okay, when it's like this, I'm gonna get it right. But with art, with creativity, you're meant to mess up, you're meant to make mistakes, you're meant to learn, you're meant to have these frustrating moments, you're meant to go through breaks and come back stronger and do your research, or just play and paint. There's so many avenues, there's so many ways to look at the world of art and creativity, and whatever works for you is what you have to gravitate towards. Try new things all the time. Don't just stick with one side of art. Try photography, try painting, try drawing, try everything. Don't say I can't do it, And I think another big part of why I'm, doing so well in this is I told myself I could be everybody and everything. And that doesn't mean I always have to be, but I'm not just a creative, it's also the business side of things, and those two have to coexist. So I spent a lot of time researching finances and how do I make sure my finances straight. I spent a lot of time looking at marketing and advertising. I spent a lot of time talking to consumers and learning how to deal with customer service. These are all things that you just want to create, but when you really want to hone in and make money off of this, and make this be your lifestyle, and just do what you love every day, and just be passionate about it every day, you have to adapt to those things. And sometimes you have to do the things you don't like in order to do exactly what you want to do. And it sucks, but that's life. Hey, you want to go to the mall today, you got to put your shoes on, you got to do all these different things. These are just parts of life, and you can always hire people. But when you are coming up and you're small and you don't really have the money to pay anybody else, you got to learn how to do it. And YouTube is the perfect platform for that. And you just really have to just expand yourself, and you're always always going to be evolving, and it's always going to feel like a failure, and you're always going to feel like I should have done more. You shouldn't have. You got up and you did it. Who else can say that they recorded or drew or did whatever the exact same way you did for the exact amount of time with the exact amount of thought process? No one. No one can say that. So you own it. You own it. You love it. You appreciate it. And you might look back and be like, I'm doing so much better now, but you have to keep doing it and have to keep going and be consistent and not stop. Because when you stop, you lose focus in what you want. So keep going. Really just have a lot of determination and want to see the world be told through stories, and see creativity really drive the way that we see people, the way that we see the world, really give out messages. And I think if anything, one message I feel like I have to give to young creatives coming up is you can't challenge other people without challenging yourself. And you have to be okay with getting uncomfortable, because how are you going to be able to make people think when you're afraid to make yourself think past what you already know? You have to be willing to get out the box, to get outside, experience the world so that you have something to tell through your art. You have problems to solve. You have a message, All art has a sense of radicalization to it. And you have to be willing to put yourself in that uncomfortable position to present that to other people and present that to the world, because your voice is important. But in order to continue that creativity, you have to just get out of what you see in media, outside of your computer, outside of that bubble that you feel so comfortable in, so that you can go back into that bubble and it feels better. It feels like you're doing more. It feels like you have room for more. Creativity lives through everything. And Galleria Untitled, it just works so perfectly. I first started off with a clothing brand, and so when I got into Galleria Untitled, it just came so naturally because, my brand is Untitled Consumer Goods, and this is a gallery. This is an extension of what I already do, of what I've already been putting out into the world. And so I want, my work to be showcased in a way of a gallery, of, a positive experience, of a journey, of, storytelling. And it's honestly amazing. I really love creating. I love fashion. I love helping people. I love helping small businesses and just watching them grow and giving them advice and talking to other young creators who are like, hey, how'd you do this? How'd you learn how to do this? I think it's such a good way for us all to connect and be surrounded with each other and have love and positivity. And no one ever really gets mad at art. I mean, there's a long history of it, but art usually makes people happy or makes people think, and I think those are two good things. Sometimes it can make them frustrated, and that's also a good thing. Sometimes people need to be frustrated, It's an exploration of all emotions, of all forms of expression, everything, Art is life, life is art. They imitate each other, and the people who create it are so special. And I'm glad to be one of those people, because it is just such a different community than the rest of the world, So I'm really excited to continue to share my journey with everyone. But I